Hello and welcome to BrainGeek on Beauty. My name is Jessica and I am a neuroscientist and avid purchaser of makeup that I probably don't need. So as I've mentioned in a couple of videos now, I have purchased a lot of stuff, a lot of makeup and beauty stuff over the past 9 months throughout the entire pandemic, and especially during the holiday sales that have been going on. And I have been trying to film videos trying out new products to force myself to actually use them since I'm not really leaving the house. So I haven't been putting on a full face of makeup to walk my dog around the neighborhood and then work on my couch in my pajamas. Today I'm going to try out for the first time and create a look using the BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin palette. So this has made the rounds on YouTube. This is the palette here. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I am a sucker for blue eyeshadow. If a palette has blue in it, that is probably the color that is going to encourage me to purchase it. So a palette like this that has a number of different shades of blue is very intriguing to me. And I saw it getting great reviews from other creators on YouTube. So I picked it up when it was on sale. And today I'm going to try it out for the first time. This isn't my first time using products from BH Cosmetics. I have a couple of their other palettes. And I found them to be kind of hit or miss. So some of their palettes are glorious and have a really amazing formula. The Zodiac palette is huge, but the formula of the shadows in that palette is amazing. They work really well. They're really creamy and pigmented and blend really beautifully. I just hate that it's such a huge palette. This is the kind of thing that I could travel with if I wanted to take a palette with me and I was allowed to travel anywhere. There was another one that I have somewhere around here. It was like the Weekend Festival palette or something. There was something to do with festivals, and it was also really great, the formula, and that was really good. I've tried a couple of their other palettes, particularly the ones that are like the baked shadow formula, and I did not like those. Those were not for me. I've seen the same thing in other people's reviews. Like sometimes the palettes are really great and sometimes they're not. But they're really affordable, so I don't mind trying them out. And the Blueberry Muffin palette had such great reviews from so many people that I thought, okay, let's pick it up. If you see me hemming and hawing, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, it's because I want to attempt to create a look that I can use with this liner that I got from JD Glow Cosmetics. But it's a multi-chrome liner. So it definitely has like a green, like magenta shift to it, which I thought, hey, why not pair that with a bunch of blue eyeshadows? I don't know. I'm weird. So I'm going to try and create something that will go with that. And I also wanted to try and maybe do a slightly different shape than what I've been doing in my past videos. So I thought today I would attempt to do a halo eye and have it work with the multi-chrome liner. We'll see what happens. This could be a complete shit show. Whatever. I'm just cleaning off my brushes because I didn't clean them after the last time I filmed. Highly recommend that you clean your brushes more often than I do. All right, so halo eye that will somehow work with a pink and green multi-chrome eyeliner. Why do I even do this to myself? I have no one to blame but myself if this goes horribly awry. There's actually a lot of neutral options in this palette. So, I mean, even though it's a Blueberry Muffin palette, there's lots of muffin-y shades in here, not just blue ones. I think I might start off with that Cloud Gray Treat and just run that through the crease. And then I'm going to start building up like the darker colors on the inner and outer corner of the eye. Let's go in with Treat. See what happens. going to go in with my larger blending brush, and I'm just going to go in with that without any product and just make sure that this is really well blended. Just want this as like a soft wash in the crease. So I think I'm actually going to go in with Decadent, which is this dark plummy color, and I'm going to put that right in the outer and inner corners. Actually a really pretty color. Blends out quite nicely. It's hard to do with a dark shade like that. I just realized how not blue this look is actually getting. That being said, blueberries aren't really blue, so it's fine. I actually really like where this is going so far, which is amazing, because usually by this point I think, oh no, I've made a terrible mistake. Now I'm going to start going in with shimmer shades on the lid. And I'm sure I've talked about this brush before because it might actually be my most loved brush that I've ever purchased. This is the Sephora Pro Shader Brush number 18. It is a tiny little shader brush. And if you are like me and you have small hooded eyes where you don't have a lot of lid space and you want to try to get multiple eyeshadows on your lid, this brush has just, mwah. It's perfect. I use this brush in almost every single look that I do, especially when I have like lots of colorful shadows on the lid. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this dark color Stud Muffin. The names people come up with. I'm going to go in with Stud Muffin on the inner and outer portions of the lid. And then I will if I can fit it all in, I'll go in with Tempting, which is this more tealy color. And I might go in with Yummy in the center of the lid, which I'm having trouble describing the shade. It's, see if I swatch it, if it'll show up better. So it's kind of a pinky duochrome shade. That is beautiful. It is dark and beautiful. I absolutely love that shadow. Stud Muffin. I lost a little bit of that purple, so I'm going to go back in with my Precision Firm Blender from Sigma and just go along the edges with that plum shade again to make sure that that plum is still in there. When I'm doing a halo eye, or even when I'm blending multiple shimmer shades across my lid, I'll typically do like the inner shade and the outer shade first, and then I'll add the like center or second shade in the middle and blend them all together. I find that that helps me get the placement really nicely. So I actually do pretty much an analogous thing with a halo eye. I will usually do the inner and outer sections first. Then I'll go in and apply the center lightest color so that I can get the placement of it right. And then I'll go in with the third shade to blend between the two, essentially. So I'm going to put Yummy in the center of my lid. I'm going to use the same brush. I just clean it off with my color switch in between. The idea with a halo eye is that the lightest part is right above your iris, your pupil, essentially, when you're looking straight ahead. So you really want to make sure that you're looking straight ahead into your mirror, and then you can place that shadow right in the center. So you see, if I was like looking to the side, I would end up placing the halo part too far out towards the outer portion of my eye. Okay. I am just going to use my detailed crease brush and blend the top edge of that. No harsh lines. So now that I have the placement of that, I don't have to worry about where my eye is or what direction I'm looking in order to add the sort of blending shade in between them on either side. So I think, like I said, I'm going to go in with Tempting, which is sort of this dark teal blue. The way it's reflecting off the lights, it looks so much brighter than it does in person. So at this point, everything's still unblended and it looks crazy. It looks absolutely crazy. So this is the point at which I start blending it into the other colors. So I usually blend the lighter shade into the darker one and then add a bit more of the darker color if I need to. So for these, I'll blend the teal outwards into the dark blue on the outside edge. And then I'll go in, I'll clean my brush and go in with the lighter color and blend that into the teal. Because if you take this teal shade and start blending inwards, the center halo part just basically gets overtaken by the darker color and you can't see it anymore. It gets thinner and thinner. And I think that's just sort of like a good rule of thumb with colors is that you like can always like deepen things, but it's really hard to lighten them up. In the same way that you can always add more, but it's hard to take away. So if you blend the dark shade into the lighter one, it's very difficult to go back essentially and lighten up the center again. I am super happy with those colors, and those shadows blended beautifully. Instead of mirroring this on the lower lash line, I think I'm going to just go in with the matte shades and try to keep the lower lash line pretty light and simple so that the focus is on the top, and then I will go in with liner. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of that dark purple shade all the way along the lower lash line. And then I'm going to go in with the cloud gray again and run that all along the lower lash line to blend it out. So I'm actually really, really happy with where we're at with that right now. I'm going to go in with this multi-chrome liner and see what happens. So this is my first time using this. So this is where it could all go wrong. You know what? I was really worried that that was going to go horribly awry and that it would look awful once I did that. But I'm actually really happy with how that worked out. I hope that you can see it, I'm sure, as usual, the shift doesn't show up as nice on camera as it does in person. But that's pretty. I think I'm going to use Charmer in my waterline again. This is the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner. I use it frequently. I'm very happy with how this is going. It is very rare that I try out a new palette for the first time and end up this satisfied with the look I create with it. I think I'm going to go in with Cravings, this color here, on my inner corners, and then I will curl my lash, put on mascara. This is beautiful. Not mad at it at all. It is very sparkly and quite flaky. Yeah, flaky is probably a good word for it. So it's definitely, I think if you're going to put it all over your lid, you'd have to be careful or you would get fallout with it. But just putting it on the inner corner seems to have been fine. All right, I'm back. I've got mascara on. I used the Pat McGrath Dark Star mascara. Not gonna lie, I am in love with this look. I was fully expecting it to be a complete disaster. I thought, oh no, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just gonna try some stuff out and it's gonna look horrible. I think it's glorious. I'm so happy with it. I'm gonna be posting this all over Instagram. I did have a tiny, like 2 specks of fallout under one eye and not the other. Just like the tiniest little bit, which I think was just from not tapping off my brush enough with one of the dark shimmer shadows. But it was really easy to deal with. I just like used my sponge and patted it out and we were good to go. So I didn't have any issues with fallout with this palette. I was super happy with it. So good. I totally get it. I get why people were saying what a great palette this is. It's a great palette. Yeah, I have only used like half the colors, half the shadows in here. But I can safely say that given that this is a incredibly affordable palette to begin with, and BH Cosmetics almost always has sales where you can get discounts on things, if you can pick up this Blueberry Muffin palette, I highly recommend it. This is absolutely beautiful. And this is definitely, I mean, I made a point of using some of the blue shadows, but as I mentioned before, there's actually a lot of variety in here, and you could absolutely get a completely neutral look that didn't involve any blue out of this palette. But if you are someone who loves blue eyeshadows, this definitely has some good ones and some good variety. It's so rare when something gets hyped up a lot on the internet that it actually lives up to expectations when you try it yourself. Anyway, I have other stuff that I want to try and put on my face. So before this becomes a 6-hour long video, I'll finish up the rest of my makeup. So this is not technically new. I bought this quite a long time ago. This is the Havila bronzer from Divina Cosmetics. So if you haven't tried any stuff from Divina Cosmetics, it's an indie brand. I've been buying stuff from them for a couple of years now. They have a really beautiful powder formula. Like their matte eyeshadows in particular are absolutely glorious. They are so smooth and blend so beautifully and have like such glorious pigment to them. They're beautiful. So anyway, many months ago, I decided to pick up one of their bronzers because their powder formula for their eyeshadows is so good. And I basically have only tried this once or twice because I stopped wearing makeup on a regular basis. So I wanted to retry it because I've forgotten what it looks like on my face, basically. looks nice. It's definitely not the most pigmented bronzer, but I actually quite like that in a bronzer. I With eyeshadows, I definitely want my eyeshadows to be very, pigmented generally. But with face products, if they're too pigmented, it actually becomes difficult to blend. So I would rather like go in and layer it up than end up with like a streak of something that I can't blend out on my face. The other thing is for me, and I don't know if anyone else has this problem, the undertone of most bronzers is awful. And one of the reasons why I picked this one up is because it did seem to have a really nice undertone to it. Oftentimes, the bronzers for sort of medium skin tones, which is sort of like the standard bronzer shade, are very, very orange and just look ridiculously orange on me. Even things that are like listed as being neutral bronzers will look really orange on me. And a lot of the bronzers that are formulated for lighter skin tones, like really fair skin tones, have like a yellow undertone, which some people really love and works for their undertone. But for me, it still looks wrong. It makes me look sickly. Which is the opposite of what bronzer is supposed to do. So I always need to try and find something that has like almost a pinky undertone to it. I really like the undertone of this. I spent a lot of time looking at swatches online trying to figure out which shade to use, but I really am pleased with that. I picked up this highlighter from Colored Rain when I was shopping on their site during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. This is one of their focal point glow lighters. This is the shade Fashion Show, which looks like nothing interesting in the pan at all. But let's see if I can. I don't know if that'll show up here, but it does have kind of like a pink peach shift to it, like almost like a peachy red shift to it, and I thought it was pretty, so I'm gonna put it on my face now. I'm pretty happy with that. I've tried the Colored Rain highlighter formulas before in one of their like blush highlighter duos. I actually am going to talk a little bit about those in a video that I'm going to film next. So if that's already up, I'll link it down below. And I've now picked up a lot of stuff from them, and I'm really pleased with it. All right, blush time. So I have two new blushes that I could try. So one is the Melt Cosmetic Digital Dust Duo Blush. So these went around on Instagram and YouTube a lot. I mean, because they're beautiful. The pan is beautiful. They have these incredible like honeycomb and bees thing going on. So this is the Raw and Honey Blush duo. They seem quite shiny. But I also have the BH Cosmetics Chocolate Cherry Truffle Blush Palette that looks like this. These are all matte blushes, and the Melt ones are shimmery blushes. How glowy do I want to be today? You know what? I already used a BH palette on my eyes. I'm going to use the Melt blush today. So I think I'm going to go in with the darker one, Raw, which has this more like mauvey tone to it, and it may or may not look good with with this eyeshadow look. I don't mind that. I don't mind a shimmery blush. I think that actually looks pretty good. I thought that it might be too mauvey, but I think it actually looks quite good. All right, so we've got eye makeup, we've got bronzer, blush, highlight. Last but not least is lipstick. So I actually talked about the new Pat McGrath lipsticks that I got in one of my previous videos, which I'll link down below, or it'll be in the end cards. Today I'm going to use Venus in Furs, which is this beautiful, like, cool toned nude shade. I love that. I'm so happy with that. So this is the look that I created using all of these new products. I hope you enjoyed seeing me try them out, along with the tips that I threw in there while doing the eye look. Leave me a comment down below about this look. Have you tried the Blueberry Muffin palette? What did you think of it? Have you tried any of the other products that I used today? Let me know what you think in the comment box down below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.